welcome to Let's Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast. I'm your host, Emmanuel Barbee. I would like to encourage everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners worldwide. Please do me a favor. Hit that like button and share this video podcast with your friends. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure that you are subscribed to my YouTube channel. It's free. Don't make this video podcast go viral by posting this link on your Facebook page, your Instagram page, and or on your Twitter page. This video podcast is available in three forms: audio, video, and as a written text in order for us to reach our audience. I created the grassroots community activist movement on November 10th, 1991 on a site called Gopher in order to connect with other like-minded Black people, African immigrants, Afro-Brazilians, Afro-Latinos, and Afro-Caribbeans to discuss social issues in America and throughout the diaspora, as well as on the African continent. The movement's objective is to build a new Black movement / African movement by building our own cooperative enterprises within the African American community. Help Stop the Genocide in American Ghettos podcast is our interactive Black media component. We discuss controversial topics that you won't hear about from the mainstream media using an Afrocentric perspective. We are committed to reporting truthful and accurate news. We believe that now is the time for a comprehensive new strategy and a new movement for Black people / African people. I use this platform to interact with everyone on my friends list and everyone in my social groups by giving Black business owners free airtime to promote their products and services. I give people in the faith community an opportunity to share the gospel of Jesus Christ. I give Black authors and ordinary law-abiding citizens an opportunity to share their special talents and skills to my listeners from around the globe. After the show, I offer my guest speakers an incentive by teaching them how to create their own podcasts and YouTube channels to help them earn extra revenue. I also assist people on my friends list with creating basic websites, finding college scholarships, grants, housing, and legal services, all for free. After 15 years of being overlooked and rejected, I decided to write and publish my story, quote, The Solution for Black America, Reclaiming, Rebuilding, and Restoring the Urban Ghettos in America, second edition. It's available on Amazon. I talked it over with my publisher, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. They're affiliated with Amazon, about lowering the price to make it affordable for everyone. Now, my book is available in two forms: an ebook that is $6.25, and the paperback for $6.25 plus shipping and handling. Ladies and gentlemen, I also created my virtual store in hopes of generating enough capital to jumpstart my Christian business, Revive Chicago, which stands for the Grassroots Community Activist Institute of Chicago. It takes capital to start a business, whether it's a nonprofit or a for-profit. Unfortunately, my revised book is barely selling, and items on my virtual store is barely selling. I have been paying out of pocket for the business title since 2010. As I explained to my listeners, it's not my burden alone. It takes a team to make a dream work. Black America has rejected my vision and plan for 31 years. This is why I'm reaching out to the Black grassroots and the global African family. My film project is my last attempt to try to do something positive for my racial group before I cut and run to Africa. At this time, all I can do is news commentary because I refuse to just sit back and twiddle my thumbs. We host our virtual conference every last Saturday of the month until we are able to raise the capital to fund our film project. Our film project is entitled Hood Liberator Made in Chicago, The War Against Willie Lynch Begins. This is a solution-based docudrama which is based on my experience growing up in the inner cities of Chicago. It's also based on my revised book. And the purpose why I created Recam. This is our Black Panther moment, except it's not owned by Disney. It's owned by us. And when I say us, that is the grassroots community activist movement members. We want to get this film in front of 500 million people worldwide. We will offer a 21st century solution for both domestically within the United States of America and throughout the diaspora. Recam is my gift to Black millennials, Generation Z, and my group members. It's my hope that we can eventually create our own Black film industry, Black hair product industry, and sporting industry. I created a GoFundMe page last April 2022 as a crowdfunding source so that everyone on my Facebook friends list and everyone in my social groups would know exactly where the funds for our film project would end up. This is also to indicate our progress in getting this film fully funded and made. Out of 1,683 people that's on my Facebook friends list, only 5 people have donated to our film project on our GoFundMe page. Then you wonder why our community remains jacked up. All I have is my revised book, my virtual store, my online groups, and this platform. I recommend that if you are serious about working with me and Sister Renee and turning my vision and plan for Black America and Africa, then first, purchase my revised book and read my story for yourself. If you agree with what I'm trying to do, then make arrangements with me to come on this podcast so that we can talk about it. Send me a message to my Facebook inbox. I'm using this technology to broadcast my vision and plan to those who will listen. It's my hope that the African immigrant community within the United States of America would come forth and work with me first in getting this film project fully funded and made so that we can build Grecaio Chicago together and make our presence known within the African American community starting in Chicago. And once that happens, then we will replicate Recam by going to visit 10 African nations. And in each African nation, we're going to set up a chapter. Grecaio Chicago's mission is to help eradicate urban violence in Chicago through arts, culture, commerce, spiritual development, and hosting African tours. We plan on visiting 10 African nations. They are as follows: South Africa, Kenya, Ethiopia, Tanzania, Uganda, Angola, Liberia, Ivory Coast, Ghana, and Nigeria. I want to bring the best of the diaspora to each African nation so that we can set up local chapters and do international trade among our people. We aim to reconnect Black entrepreneurs with African entrepreneurs, Black artists with African artists. In this Christian business, our objective is to heal from enslavement and colonization. Since Black America and Black Chicago has overlooked and rejected my vision and plan for the past 31 years, my Christian business will be membership-based. I am only responsible for my members. Those who are not part of us, we will pray for them, we will show them tough love, and we will keep it moving. Our hashtag, not a 31 years. Upcoming events. Please mark your calendar for our next GRCAM virtual conference, Saturday, July 29th, 2023. I am encouraging all of my Christian group members and Light of the World Inspirational Group and Christian Spoken Word Network to please stand up and for at least 8 people to be on my panel. You must make arrangements with me so that we can practice using StreamYard so that we can do a professional show. Theme, challenging Black churches in America to work with us to improve the African American community while strengthening the Black family for the next generation. Where? Facebook Live / StreamYard. Time, 2 p.m. through 3 p.m. American Central Time, 3 p.m. Canadian Time, 8 p.m. West African Time, 9 p.m. South African Time, 10 p.m. East African Time, and 8 p.m. UK Time. Instructions on how to participate on the show. First, watch my video podcast. This is called Side A. After I finish my presentation, then I will open up the phone lines through Facebook Messenger. This is called Side B. You can interact with me in real time, either by voice call by clicking on the phone icon or by video call by clicking on the camera icon. Today's topic of discussion is as follows. Who benefited from affirmative action? As you all know, affirmative action, race-based admissions has been struck down by the Supreme Court, according to CNBC. The Supreme Court ruled that the affirmative action admission policy of Harvard and the University of North Carolina, which gave weight to a would-be student's race, are unconstitutional. The ruling is a massive blow to decades-old efforts to booster enrollment of racial minorities at American universities. The court's majority opinion said that both Harvard and UNC affirmative action programs, quote, unavoidably employ race in a negative manner, involves racial stereotypes, and lack meaningful endpoints, unquote. After decades of aggressive and strategic efforts from influential right-wing forces, the U.S. Supreme Court outlawed race admissions at universities throughout the nations, dismantling decades of progress and crippling the potential of racial diversity and pluralism at our nation's institution of higher education. People are looking at the effects it would have on Black people. Affirmative action was meant for Black Americans after slavery and during the Jim Crow era, which denied Black people access to institutions and deprived our ancestors of resource based on race. When it was time to correct the wrongs done to our ancestors, the white supremacist financial elites turned it into a minority program that benefited all these other groups who were not enslaved for 246 years plus 100 years of Jim Crow. The dominant society knows that it benefits white women, and other groups more than it benefits us. The affirmative action decision is a symbolic undermining of Black people's fight. The affirmative action race-based initiative that white supremacist financial elites are using the buffer class, in this case Asians, to knock down affirmative action, stating we shouldn't use race-based initiatives any longer. Ladies and gentlemen, it's getting real out here. They're putting us back into Jim Crow. I remember watching a video clip of Dr. Claude Anderson saying affirmative action does not benefit our group. The only Black people who is benefiting from affirmative action are Black immigrants. This ruling is no surprise given by the nature of the court. This has connections to the civil rights movement. One of the problems with the civil rights movement gains was these were gains that can be taken away if white America feel threatened by it. As I mentioned in my revised book, After Slavery, there was a promise made to our ancestors by the U.S. government that Black Americans would receive 40 acres and a mule. After President Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, the U.S. government rolled back on giving our ancestors what was due to them. Our ancestors made a lot of progress politically during Reconstruction. I am a product of affirmative action. I was able to attend Northeastern Illinois University because I was the first person from my family to have an opportunity to attend a university due to college scholarship. That kumbaya stuff goes out the window when you start talking about sharing power and resources with white Americans. I feel like this could be a blessing in disguise. Being kicked out of the white man's institutions would finally force Black people to want to build our own institution. That's what I've been preaching about on this podcast for the past 31 years. Of course, affirmative action should be in place because the white supremacist financial elites have been stealing everything from us for 400 years. But now affirmative action is gone. Now what? How is it that without affirmative action, our ancestors were able to own more land and businesses than we own today? On my past podcasts, I speak extensively about some of the flaws of social integration. We traded land ownership, business ownership, stable families, and education to be included with people that hate us with a passion, to work at their corporate jobs and receive student loans, which is killing Black wealth. No other group would remain in a country that enslaved their ancestors except Black Americans. We turn our children over to the descendants of slave owners and expect them to have our children's best interests. We're pushing for lineage-based reparations. We already have all these other groups from different lineages who have already received benefits based on the grievances that happened to the people from their lineage. For example, Japanese Americans and Native Americans receive reparations from the U.S. government. It's very important for us to get on code and stay on our lineage theme because we saw what happened with this affirmative action thing, getting struck down based on race. That's why we cannot do this kumbaya feel-good moment any longer. These other groups want us to continue believing in this so-called minority coalition and diversity so they can continue piggybacking off our struggles. Now that they are trying to get us into the affirmative action conversation because they will have to fight their own battles. The white supremacist financial elites is rewriting the history book starting in Florida. I found a YouTube video about a white evangelical preacher who is falsifying American slavery. I provide the actual video clip on my medium transcript under Show and Prove. I would play the audio version. Free use, YouTube. 150 years ago, or 200 years ago, when the blacks were slaves, did they ever go to Washington, D.C. and have a rally 200 years ago to protest against slavery? Did they? No. What did they do? Well, a lot of good people in the plantations would say, hey, it's winter time. Let us help build a church for you, dear folks. And they loved them and taught them how to read so they can read the Bible. And here's what the blacks did about 150 years ago. They humbled themselves. They prayed. They sought God's face and they turned from their wicked ways, and God made slavery illegal. Did y'all hear what this man said? He said the slave owners were the good people on the plantation. It was illegal for slaves to read, according to his preacher. They love us. What kind of love is that? Raping our women and working our ancestors to death. He said the slave owners built a church for the slaves. They taught them about the Bible, and they taught the slaves to humble themselves, turn from their wicked ways. So let me get this straight. Our ancestors who were forced to work and our women were forced to be raped by these white supremacists, the victims of all this brutality was the ones who were wicked, not the perpetrators imposing slavery on black people. This is why we have to teach our children the real history. That is why I wrote my revised book. This is why Ghettos, Chicago is important for the African American community and for the black world. I have a few thoughts about this affirmative action thing. The U.S. Supreme Court has overruled affirmative action a couple of weeks ago, mainly for university admissions, but it's also headed towards cutting scholarships, jobs, and housing. One question: who benefits from affirmative action? Black people, white people, gay people, or immigrants? I found an article from the USA Today entitled, quote, "White women benefit most from affirmative action. So why do they oppose it?" Unquote. What is affirmative action? Affirmative action refers to efforts to curb discrimination in education, employment, and government contracts. White women have been the biggest beneficiary of affirmative action. Anything that given to black people, the white supremacist financial elites will water it down, make it available for other groups by using the term, quote, minority. We've been trying to get politicians and black celebrities to listen to our call for lineage-based reparations for descendants of American slaves. We have a legitimate grievance. We've been waiting 400 years for what's due to us. This is our last fight in America. 4 black women who were Hollywood executives were responsible for diversity and inclusion at different Hollywood studios. All of them were removed from their positions within one day of the Supreme Court decision. Disney chief diversity officer Latondra Newton, Warner Brothers Discovery diversity executive Karen Horn, Netflix first head of inclusion Verna Myers, and the Film Academy executive VP of Impact and Inclusion Janelle English has exited. This is connected to the affirmative action decision. I think companies are now concerned about liability. They may be worried about being sued in the event that they promoting diversity when promoting diversity is now illegal. I found an article from The Hill entitled, quote, "Many of America's black youth cannot read or do math. and that imperils us all, unquote. There's a big question that must be asked. What are we gonna do in America where there isn't any form of race-based preference anymore? I was taught the way you could earn college scholarship is by telling a traumatic story, black story about how terrible your environment was and how you overcame those obstacles. Now that does not matter anymore. The question becomes, are black children prepared for this new society in America? The answer is no. Let me show you the data. I encourage my listeners to go to my Medium transcript, scroll down to Show and Prove, and look for the article from The Hill. It says 84% of black students in the 8th grade lack the ability to do math, and 85% of black students are functionally illiterate. 84% of our kids cannot read, write, or do math at grade level, and yet I have little to no support from my Christian business in Chicago. Lord have mercy on my racial group. I bet if you ask what percentage of black boys can play basketball, that would be 100%. I bet if you ask what percent of black girls know who Cardi B is, that would be at least 90%. Family, we are in a state of emergency. We cannot pretend any longer that these things aren't happening. We have the data. We're not doing a good job preparing our children for the future. These public schools are also failing our children. When they grow up and turn 18 and have no skills, then you wonder why they turn to the streets and become victims of the school to prison pipeline. Why do we have so many broken families in our neighborhood? If it starts at home, then that means something needs to be fixed in the home. I am trying to create Ghettos Chicago so that we can meet the need of single black mothers and single black fathers that want to use our service and programs. These public schools will not hire strong black male teachers because they don't want black boys to have exposure to positive black masculinity. Black men like me and Minister Farrakhan would never be invited to a public school because they view us as a threat. We have to start caring about our black children. I am online every day, constantly teaching black people. We have to do better for our children. If we don't, who will? We've been taught that social integration is the solution for everything. You become a white supremacist sympathizer because your goal is to integrate as much as possible. As a result, from this integrationist, assimilationist, and indoctrination that was fed to us, and the affirmative action served as a tool for that, no other group would remain in a society that enslaved their ancestors, then endure getting beaten and water holes sprayed upon our grandparents just to have the opportunity to integrate white businesses and white institutions with people who hate us with a passion. We overlook the people who love us from our own community. Black people are in an abusive relationship with white America. It's called Stockholm Syndrome. Over here, we want to create a different model. I want us to view this setback as an opportunity for us to get it right. How did A.G. Gaston ended up making millions of dollars when there was no affirmative action? And you can read about him in my on my Medium transcript under Show and Prove, as well as O.W. Gurley. He became one of the greatest black entrepreneurs in America without affirmative action. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. admitted toward the end of his life that he was integrating black people into a burning house. He was noticing that integrationists and assimilationist strategies wasn't optional for black people due to the hatred and disdain for us. They only view us as subordinates and subhuman. When you work for someone else, You are unable to shape the culture, the policy, or make major decisions within a company. Most companies don't believe in diversity. They just have a diversity statement because they're legally obligated to have one. I believe this is the moment that will bring about the greatness in us if we work together and stay focused. In conclusion, I believe we should take this situation and turn it into an opportunity. Take every setback and turn it into a set forward. Over here, our focus is on shifting the culture. It's time that everyone on my Facebook friends list, everyone in my social groups, and all of my listeners from around the globe to get involved with our film project for the sake of our children and our group. We have to build Rakayo Chicago, and we have to embrace the ideas in my revised book, because my revised book is the foundation of my Christian business. Once Rakayo Chicago is built, then we don't have to continue to complain about this fake trickle down politics or trickle down economics. My creator called me to start working as a GED instructor and use my story to recruit brave and smart Black people and African people starting here in America. I had little to no support because I don't operate like the next Black man. I have my own style and way of doing things. Whenever I go, wherever I go, I try to let people know if they want to be a part of this new Black movement or African movement, they have to come with clean hands. I don't associate myself with con artists, hardened criminals, degenerates, or pedophiles. I was exposed to Pan-Africanism when I was a child, and the only issue I had with it was that they left God out of it. The grassroots community activist movement will focus on solving Black issues and meeting the need of the community. We will serve while having a balance, promoting God's love to those who will heed. The Guy of Chicago will have a community health care clinic to meet those with medical conditions, a community grocery store to meet the need of the poor Black families within the low-income African-American community, and community housing for mixed-income people. This is why I need Black middle-class professionals on my team who will make sure that Ghettos Chicago will become effective and successful for years to come. 50 years from now, Ghettos Chicago will be established in 10 African nations. Our members and will use our ideas and internalize them. Through this Christian business, we will leave them with some wealth, and they will be on top of economics and know the importance of working together as a team. They will have their emotions in check and be able to manage billion-dollar deals by the year 2300. That's the future I see. I need GRCAM members worldwide to help me get my revised book on the bestsellers list and make a donation to our film project on our GoFundMe page. You can find the links to my revised book and to our GoFundMe page in the comment section below this video podcast. This film project will allow us to make an impact in the African American community starting in Chicago. Please leave a public comment on my YouTube page about the topic. Most of all, share this video podcast with your friends. This will help get the ball rolling. Thank you for your time. Peace and blessings.